Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. There's an interesting little takeaway from having reform in Scotland. Whilst there is Labour and Scottish Labour, Tories and Scottish Tories, Lib Dems and Scottish Lib Dems and so forth, reform is reform is reform, whether they're in England, Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland. I'm not too sure there are any in Northern Ireland, but hey. What does this mean? Well, it means that by definition, reform must be a unionist party. Now, I know that they have non-unionists, separatists within their ranks, but because it is not a separate Scottish reform, it therefore must mean that anyone who votes for reform is voting for a unionised nation. Now, given that the expected numbers voting for reform at all in Scotland is going to be, if not, not ground shaking, but it could be a good, say, 12 to 15, even 18%. That's still significant. And it lays completely to waste any claim by the SNP going forward that Scotland is still going to be a country of independence. Because you've got the Tories, who are the Conservative and Unionist Party, as well as Reform, plus Labour's officially a Unionist party at the moment. Other Unionist parties exist as well. I think the makeup of the next Holyrood elections will be very interesting. And if the independence parties don't hit 50%, I think you can safely say that independence is dead, and also that it's unlikely to ever happen while anyone still alive is still alive. And it's simply because there's even people who vote SNP who don't want independence. They believe in what the SNP stands for, weirdly, but they don't necessarily want to be independent because they're not stupid enough to realise that it's a terrible, terrible thing. You know, they know they can do the maths. They know that Scotland can't stand on its own, but they still want to support the SNP. I don't understand that either, but that's certainly how it is, because even within the SNP polling, it's not 100% for independence. And so if you get a non-trivial vote for unionism, then you know independence has died. And that's no bad thing. Then hopefully the SNP will follow suit when they realise that what they're trying to do is unachievable and pointless and a waste, and that every single brass farthing they spend on it is money that's criminally wasted, that should be good for other parts of society. They won't, of course. They'll still keep pushing because they are obsessed. They are clinically obsessed with it. Sad. Think of the good that money would do instead of the destruction it's reaping. But hey, that's what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks very much. Bye.